Hello. You are about to discover something that has nothing to do with willpower, nor is it about ignoring your feelings or pretending everything is okay when it is not. It is not about forcing yourself into a false positive attitude or fighting negative thoughts in your head. What really helps you to not be affected by anyone or anything anymore lies in a deeper aspect, something that most people ignore because they often look for solutions outside themselves instead of realizing that real change only happens from within. There are people who, even in times of crisis or loss or uncertainty, remain calm. Others, even in normal situations, are easily swept up in emotions and reactions. Is it luck, personality, or is there some hidden principle that separates those who master their inner world from those who are ruled by it? The problem is, most people think that reality is objective, that things just happen, and that our emotions are inevitable consequences of external events. But that is not the case. Every experience you have, really everything you feel, is filtered through your interpretation of life, through the beliefs you've carried around for years, and the emotions you haven't learned to manage. It's like you're wearing colored glasses, always seeing the world through your emotional filter. The key is not to avoid pain or to try to make everything around you harmless. It is to change the meaning you give to each experience, to reprogram the way you perceive reality, and to learn to use each emotion as a tool for growth rather than a burden that keeps you stuck. When you understand that reality is not imposed on you but interpreted, you will realize that you can choose how to respond to any situation. At that moment, you will be truly free. And in this video, I will show you how to do this, not through abstract theories, but through principles used by people who have achieved deep inner peace. Fear, negative emotions, even pain, can work for you instead of against you. Instead of seeing emotions as opponents, turn them into teachers that help you grow. The human psyche is a complex labyrinth where every thought, reaction, and emotion is shaped by deep layers that we rarely consciously explore. Carl Jung, the great psychoanalyst, described the psyche as an iceberg. The visible part is the conscious mind, and beneath the surface is a vast subconscious where our experiences, traumas, insecurities, and most importantly, the projects we project onto the world, are stored. Think about how fear creeps into your life, sometimes without you even realizing it. It might take the form of doubt, when you wonder if you have what it takes to try something new. Jung taught that fear, like any other emotion, is not an enemy, but a teacher pointing to something within you that needs to be acknowledged. When you suppress your emotions, they don't go away. In fact, they become a burden you carry around with you every day, a whisper in the back of your mind that keeps you from moving forward without you even realizing it. Imagine a storm. The wind is blowing hard, the rain is falling heavily, the sky is dark. You try to fight it with your hands, trying to stop the rain, stop the wind. But the more you fight, the more exhausted you become. The storm doesn't stop because you fight, it stops when you let it pass. Instead of fighting your emotions, you can simply stop and observe them. Ask yourself, what is this emotion trying to tell me? Every emotion has an underlying message, and when you learn to understand and use them, you will no longer be controlled by them. When you are faced with a difficult situation, instead of acting on instinct and reacting automatically, stop and observe. Imagine an argument with a loved one, a conflict at work, or a situation that makes you feel insecure or attacked. Instead of letting your emotions control you, stop, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, what part of me is reacting right now? The answer to this question can completely change the way you live. When you realize that what happens outside of you can only affect you if you let it, you'll begin to take back control of yourself. Carl Jung talked about the concept of the silent observer, the part of your mind that is not swayed by emotions or external circumstances. This is an inner space where you remain calm, no matter what happens. When you access this part of yourself, you will realize that nothing and no one can shake you unless you allow them to. Every time you feel unsettled, it is not because the world is unfair or because someone has hurt you. It is actually a sign that something in you needs to change and heal. The key to achieving lasting inner peace is not to change the world outside yourself, but to change how you experience it. When you master how you see and react to it, you will no longer be disturbed by emotional storms or external events. Once you understand this, you will realize that life is not always easy, but you will know how to not be affected by it. Challenges in life are no longer scary because you understand that they are temporary and always present opportunities for growth. Jung talked about integrating the shadow, which is the process of bringing the parts of ourselves that are not yet recognized into the light. It is about understanding the fears, anxieties, complexes, or negative thoughts that you have suppressed for a long time. Imagine a person who has lived their whole life in fear of rejection. They have learned that in order to be loved, they have to try their best, to please everyone, to sacrifice themselves to gain recognition from outside. As they grow up, they still feel inadequate, always trying harder to avoid rejection. When they realize they are stuck in this cycle, they begin to seek change. Instead of living only to seek recognition from others, they learn to love and respect themselves. This is the first step to unclogging and accepting themselves. Jung talked about integrating the shadow, which is the process of bringing the parts of ourselves that are not yet recognized into the light. It is about understanding the fears, anxieties, complexes, or negative thoughts that you have suppressed for a long time. Failure is not something to be ashamed of. In fact, it is an indispensable part of the process of growing up. A person who always feels that failure is a shame, when they try something new and fail, they will punish themselves with negative thoughts. They compare themselves to others, feel that they are not good enough, not worthy. But Jung taught that every failure is a lesson. When they change their perspective, no longer seeing failure as a bad thing, but as an opportunity to learn and grow, they will be more free in life, no longer afraid to try again when facing difficulties. Every thought you cultivate is a seed. If you continually plant seeds of fear, resentment, or doubt, they will grow into trees that dominate your life. But if you choose to plant seeds of confidence, inner peace, and self-belief, your reality will change dramatically. This is not an abstract theory that you can feel immediately. Every time a limiting thought comes into your mind, don't automatically accept it as true. Observe it, question it, challenge it, and ask yourself if it really belongs to you or is just an echo from the past that you can let go of. How you see the world outside will reflect how you change inside. A person who sees life as a series of obstacles and tragedies will always find evidence of that belief at every turn. But if you decide to see life as an opportunity for growth, every situation becomes a valuable lesson. True freedom comes from within. It is not dependent on how others treat you or what circumstances surround you. If you believe in yourself and act from that knowledge, you will never let anyone or anything take away your inner peace. Anxiety, guilt, and insecurity are not who you are. They are emotional habits that you have developed over your life. When you realize that these emotions are not who you are but are reactions to thoughts from the past, you can change them. Every time you feel hurt, don't rush to react. Stop and ask yourself, why does this affect me? What part of me is feeling this way? When you truly master how you perceive and respond to your emotions, you will see each difficult situation as an opportunity to learn more about yourself. When you start living from awareness instead of automatic response, you will discover something amazing. That is, most problems that you once found difficult and insurmountable gradually become easier. Not because the world has changed, but because you see it with different eyes. When you truly master how you respond to the situations around you, you no longer feel like a victim of circumstances. Every emotion, every conflict, every challenge becomes an opportunity for you to understand yourself better. You no longer react from a place of fear or insecurity, but from a place of awareness and understanding. When you start living from awareness instead of automatic response, you will discover something amazing. Carl Jung said, "Until you make your unconscious conscious, it will dictate your life, and you will call it destiny." This means that every emotion you experience, every thought you have, every reaction to the world around you, is an opportunity for you to take control of your own story. It's not about denying your emotions, but about asking yourself, can I transform this emotion into something that will empower me? Every time you feel hurt, Instead of wallowing in feelings of injustice or disappointment, you can look at it as an opportunity to learn and grow. Imagine a situation that you have recently experienced that is close to you. Perhaps someone criticized you, or you were criticized for a mistake. Instead of letting this feeling control you, stop and ask yourself, is this feeling a message for me? Is it indicating something that needs to change within me? Jung said that what we do not face in our shadow will continue to control us, and every negative feeling you experience is an opportunity for you to recognize and integrate the unseen parts of yourself. Try changing the way you think about situations that upset you. For example, if you feel angry or frustrated, instead of letting this emotion take over, observe it. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? What is being triggered inside me? When you recognize this, you will no longer be drawn into a pointless battle with your emotions. Instead, you will choose to respond consciously and in control, rather than letting your emotions overwhelm you. Imagine an argument with someone important in your life. The words are getting harsher, emotions are running high. In the past, you might have been tempted to argue back, or let your anger take over. But this time, you do something different. Before you react, you stop and ask yourself, what part of me is reacting to this? Is this my true emotion, or is it a reflection from the past? In that moment, you can choose not to react from anger or insecurity, but from a place of clear awareness. You will speak confidently and calmly, not because you don't feel angry, but because you understand that anger is not the only thing you can feel. Jung said, we cannot change what we are not aware of. This means that when you do not face your unconscious emotions and thoughts, they will continue to control you. When you accept and face your shadow parts, you can not only heal, but also change the way you respond to the world. Taking responsibility for your emotions does not mean denying them, but understanding that you can change how you perceive and feel them. Every time you feel hurt, it's an opportunity to learn. Think about a time when you were deeply hurt, perhaps by criticism or neglect from someone else. Instead of wallowing in pain, look at that feeling as a lesson. Maybe it was teaching you about self-esteem, about how you need to set boundaries, or about how you need to learn to love yourself instead of waiting for validation from others. When you start changing from within, you will see everything around you begin to change. Instead of looking for change from the outside, you will understand that you have to change yourself first. When you are free from within, you are no longer bound by negative emotions or the words of others. Inner peace is not something you find on the outside. It is something you build from within, through every choice, every thought, and every moment in which you decide that no one and nothing can take away the peace you have created. When you find this peace, the world will no longer be the same. You will no longer feel threatened or insecure about what is happening around you. The truth is, you don't need the world to change in order to live a peaceful life. All you need to do is change the way you deal with everything around you. When you learn to live with awareness, you will realize that nothing and no one can affect you unless you allow it to. So, start your journey of self-discovery today. Master your emotions, face them consciously, and know that the peace you seek is already within you. If you found this video helpful and want to continue exploring these interesting topics, please subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, and share this video with your friends. Together, we will continue to learn and discover knowledge that can change your life. Don't forget to leave your thoughts and suggestions in the comments. See you in the next video.